So I am a Paracanoe athlete. I compete in the KL3 category, 200 metres in the kayak boat. I've recently got the Grand Slam of World, Europeans and Paralympic Games, which was really pretty special. But I've also had experience in 3 different sports. I came to Paracanoeing quite late. I was a hockey player before growing up for teenage and early 20s, and then moved across to para-athletics, and then fell in love with Paracanoe when I was 27, 28, and yeah, it kind of went from there and fell in love with the sport and got better and it all peaked over the last few years.
She's become the Paralympic champion. Look at that, Laura Sugar over the line.
So my disability specifically is I've got a fused ankle. I was born with a condition called talipes, or club foot as it's more commonly known. So my foot was essentially kind of tucked under and facing backwards when I was born, but in the end they operated and fixed my ankle. In Paracanoe you've got disabilities. I'm kind of right at the top end of the categories. I'm probably of the most mild disability you can get, but you could get all the way down to kind of mid-spinal impairment. So we have 6 categories across the 2 boats. We have a VOW, which is a single-sided paddle, and a kayak, which you paddle both sides, and they range from, as I say, that we've got guys that are paralysis midway up the spine, all the way down to people with limbs missing, such as me. So I first came across it with British Canoeing actually, and they asked us if we wanted to try out the product, and so we went and got, purchased some of those. And I'm a huge believer of, obviously you have to have that balanced diet, but it's especially really hard to get enough protein and enough nutrients to have that just from your diet. So supplements is really key to supplement your diet. So I use VOW protein almost on a daily basis, and creatine. I also, on race day, I use the gels. On any race day or any really high intensity session, I find it really hard to sometimes get my energy up, and I do find that there's a benefit for me having those gels. When we're training so much, we need those extra supplements to help us, and so the fact that VOW is Informed Sport accredited and everything is on Informed Sport is fantastic. And I say that's the huge tick that we all need, and we all feel safe as athletes being able to use those products, which I think is really key. Also, it tastes great. That's one of the main things. As I mentioned before, there's sometimes products when you're like forcing them down, whereas actually VOW is enjoyable. As the hydro tabs actually make my water taste nice, so I can then drink even more during training. The protein especially is really nice. So definitely the taste and the accessibility of it. Literally, they've just released our team for the World Championships and won the team for that this summer. Main job is to try and get top 6. For the World Championships, it's to qualify the boat spot for Great Britain for the Paralympic Games next year. But as I say, that's the spot for Great Britain. Then myself will have to race off. We'll have our championships next year to hopefully book our place on that plane to Paris and go and try and defend my titles. But I think I want to push the sport and see how fast I can go. I've got the world best time now. I want to try and keep it and make it even faster.